Well, they're very similar actually. You know, it's uncanny. It's just that rugby, professional rugby, is perhaps a little bit more in the spotlight. There's no difference in managing your employees. You have succession plans to deal with. Your current employees, you have to look at their strengths and weaknesses, and perhaps very importantly is to provide them with feedback. You have to give them feedback on their performance, you know, how they're doing. And you have to monitor their performance as well. So setting targets and getting them to understand their job description is very, very important. So no different to business. Of course, they're exposed on the rugby field in rugby, and you get a chance to look at how they tackle, pass, run, how they do in their specific roles on the field. But again, you know, if you can relate that to business, you know, for example, there are people who push buttons, there are people who work a line, there are people who have to reach targets. There's all manner of things, and it's really no different to rugby. I don't think it's just the Ospreys. I think any rugby team, you know, when I coached Wales and even at Gloucester or school teams, then you know, you have in rugby a team of individuals, and it's very important to, if you're developing them and helping them learn new skills or to perform at their highest, that you understand their learning styles. So, you know, some people learn visually through audio means or kinesthetically, and so I think for me, what I've learned is that good leaders really care about their employees. They understand them, they get to know their backgrounds and what makes them tick. Plenty of examples, particularly the Ospreys. You know, having coached Gavin Henson after playing with his father, a prop forward from Pencoed, playing for my stake, you know, Gavin was a different animal, but a consummate professional, you know, very prepared, a great athlete, somebody that rugby came very easily to, but still, you know, his mentality and his psyche, his psychology was one that you had to get to know and understand. Gavin had to be 100% right in order to go on the field. He saw that as his stage, and he needed to be just right to perform. So, you know, boosting his ego, giving him confidence was a classic example. Justin Marshall, New Zealand's, you know, most ever capped All Blacks scrum half, a former captain of the All Blacks, came over to the Ospreys, a real winner, but somebody who never liked being dropped or not picked or even dragged off the field, you know, and being substituted. So it was somebody that you had to get into. I had to play squash with Justin on his day off to really get into him and understand him and build up a rapport. So, you know, ages, different levels of maturity differ, you know, experience, and you have to take all of these into account when you're managing your workforce, which essentially is what a rugby team is. Well, you know, when I finished at the Ospreys after nearly 10 years and after 16 years of professional rugby coaching, you know, the BBC asked me to go along and do some work for them around games, Celtic rugby games, and I found myself being a bit of an analyst to rugby games, during live games, reviewing games, you know, in the studio, and learning a lot more about the public and the media. And I've also picked up a role as hosting a radio show, a rugby radio show, the only one of its kind in Wales. So I'm learning the broadcasting fundamentals, learning the hard way, but I'm enjoying it, and that's taken me to a different stratosphere in terms of my brand and my profile, and I'm enjoying that. Also, I'm doing some writing, so I'm still keeping close to the game. I'm having to analyse all of the games, and as you rightly say, keeping my hand in on a consultancy coaching basis, where I'm coaching teams like Romania. Local clubs ask me to go along, and I do a bit of work for them. And you know, I coach the coach as well. I do a lot of coach development and coach education, which I really enjoy. I think the coaching is a fraternity. We should share. We should learn from each other, and I really enjoy, you know, taking that out there to whether it's young developing coaches or current professional coaches and bouncing off one another. So it's quite a diverse range of things I'm doing at the moment. I'm still only 42, you know, I'm happy to get back into elite coaching at some point, but for now I'm enjoying new skills and new challenges.